Hey crafty babes, Andrea here. I am so excited to share a layout with you today using printables from issue number 17 of Retro Hit magazine. Yes, friends, it's the spring issue. I know that most of us, well, right now when this releases, we are in the dead of winter and a lot of people are freezing still because, well, it's the end of February, but I think we all need a little spring in our step right now. So I'm so happy that these colors are so bright and cheery, and I'm excited to share this with you. So I am using only items from this issue, including pattern paper, hearts, a little bit of mini kit from Kelly. Let's see, the Polaroids are making its way in here, the labels, and I'm sure we're going to see some other things like the stamp. So right now I just have these older photos of one of the spring purges that I did last year in my craft studio. It was fun. I love a good purge. I love a good cleaning out of the supplies, and it is so good for me. And I think it's good for everybody to do a good purge of your supplies, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed. And I know that personally, when I feel like I have too much stuff, I'm overwhelmed by either the number of projects I have or the sheer amount of things that I can potentially create with, I know that it's time to purge because it is just, there's too many decisions to make, and nobody has time for that. We just want to craft. So I love purging. And so this layout is just going to be some of the after photos from that big purge that I did, but I also just really wanted to share with you ways that you can use all of these cool supplies that you're going to get with issue number 17. By the time this is live, there will be a magazine in my shop. So I cannot guarantee that the printed version will still be available for you when you're watching this, but the digital is always available, and with either purchase, you get all of the digitals, so no sweat there. But here I finally found my foundation. So I'm doing a little bit of a cluster in the top left and then a little bit of a cluster in the bottom right, so that it just feels a little bit balanced there. And I'm just looking around for some different things I might want to add, and I feel like I've got my clusters pretty well managed here for now, at least. Really want to find a way to use some of these stamps because they're so much fun. There's a little mid-century A-line house. There's some flowers and the sparkles. Oh my gosh, the sparkles are basically everywhere in this issue. They're my favorite. I am not going to do a bunch of things to these cards other than just kind of get some layers going on them. So I am just going to start adhering them down. When I have too many things that are potentially moving around on my page, it does frustrate me a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and get everything glued down to the page. And that way I can just concentrate on building these fun little clusters and figuring out where I want to stamp. Because ultimately, I really just want to get to the stamping. If you're curious about what I'm using here, it's score tape. I have been a glue stick girl forever, but recently fell in love with score tape, especially working outside of pockets. I feel a little bit safer that the items that I adhere to my pages are not going to pop off in a couple of years. So since I can't hide things and protect them with plastic pockets, I just decided to go start using some score tape, and it turns out I really love it. So now I'm just figuring out what kind of cluster is going to work here. And, trusty little tiny attacher is always a good way to make a cluster. So we've got washi tape as well. That is something I started adding to the magazine's last issue. This issue, they're super fun. I've got long ones and short ones, and almost all of the elements in the magazine are represented in these washi tapes. So just thinking about if this is kind of where I want things. I've got a tiny little idea of just where I want to do some stamping, and I do want to use this house. I want to use it because obviously it's adorable. So I bring out a couple of different colors that I think are a good match for this issue. I only use Distress Oxide inks from Ranger. And I have a lot of colors, but what I found is that the colors in the magazine are a bit more muted than the colors of the inks that I have. I'm sure that they make pretty close matches. I just don't own them. So I was getting a little sad, to be honest, that all of the stamps I was stamping were just a little too bright for the colors. I decide to try out, I'm kind of auditioning, interviewing a couple of different colors. And I know they look very good on camera, but in person, they're just a little bit too bright, and it was kind of bugging me. I'm a little bit of kind of a color perfectionist a little bit. If tones are off or don't match, it just bugs me. And it probably wouldn't bug anybody else, but I decide to just leave that there and just hang with it for a little bit. I like to just kind of see how it feels. I think when I'm looking at it right now, I think it looks great. And I should have kept the green. You'll see that I end up making a couple of different decisions along the way, and that's okay. I am not one to regret. Okay, that's not true. I regret them. Some decisions that I make on my layouts, I regret immediately. And then I just live with it. I just decide that is the decision I made. I must live with it. I'm learning how to know when to stop adding things, and also what is not my style. It's something that's taken a long time to kind of get to, but it's a good feeling knowing that I don't have to add that piece, it's not the right decision, that kind of thing. And, it doesn't always, I don't always listen to myself. I do not always listen. I'm so excited about that measuring tape. That is like my favorite part of the stamp set, and I really love it. So here I'm using black mostly for these stamps because I really want to pull some dark contrast around the page, and you'll see that there's going to be some other black stamping, and then I've gone to try to make some different decisions here. The pink house hangs out for a little while. and then we get a divorce. I leave the pink house. But that's all right. All right. So the pink house also, I did green. My bad. I did adhere green. Okay. So see, I knew that looked good. It does look good. I don't argue with myself about that, but something was feeling off about it. It could have been that, as I'm looking at it now, maybe there was just a little too much green too close together with the spring, the green card at the bottom, and then the greenhouse kind of all in that little circle right in the middle. It just didn't feel right, but I lived with it for a little bit, and I like doing that. I like just kind of moving around the page while I sit with certain things. So now I think there might be a couple extra things I want to add. So I'm going to just look through. I'm just going to look through I'm going to stamp some more. See, I told you I can't get enough of those sparkles. They're so fun. So I feel like I need something on the right bottom. And so I'm going to start with a flower cluster from this mini kit from Kelly. It's not the right shape, and I know that as I'm cutting it out, but I still need to audition it. I still need to just see. And it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right at all. So as I'm looking, here's the decision that I make. I'm taking the house off and I'm using this bar soap. And it's just so freaking cute. And I love it because it pulls a little bit of that muted orange in and some more pink. It doesn't feel as heavy as the green. And it turns out that it is like the best decision. I love it so much. So I'm going to write a little checklist here. This checklist is a stamp from the issue number 17 stamp set. It's so much fun. So now I'm just going to do a little journaling to top it off. And we are going to add one more stamp because it's necessary. In that little box right there underneath the journaling, just needed a little something. And that is going to be it, ladies. Thank you so much for watching. I will have links to my shop down in the description so you can grab your copy of issue number 17. It is all about cleaning, traveling, girls getaway, purging, minimalism, and with a mid-century Palm Springs vibe. I hope you love it. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.